Hello guys, Matthew Moss right here, and welcome to my roundup / breakdown of my Apple March event Keynote. That just happened a couple of minutes ago. I missed a large portion of it while I was having tea, but I'm not going to talk about the Apple Watch because if you want my honest opinion, the Apple Watch does too much for what the type of device it is. It does too much, and I'm not particularly sold on this device. So instead, I'm going to talk about the MacBook line, the Mac, which they only really talked about the notebook side of their Mac lineup. So I'm going to jump right in. Okay, so Apple has finally announced a new notebook. Technically, we announced the notebook. The MacBook is back. Yes, the Apple MacBook that they discontinued in 2011, 2012 for educational customers is finally back. So this means that they have a whole new design that's inspired from the iPhone and iPad. They've really reinvented the notebook this time. I mean, they really pissed the bolt out compared to the Retina MacBook Pro. So let's get on to it. Let's start with the inside, shall we, before we get into the Retina display, the keyboard and the trackpad. The inside, the motherboard, the actual motherboard, logic board, is ridiculously small. I mean, like, let's see. Imagine this, between here, what's the size of the motherboard? That's how small it is. It's the most densest, I can't say that, so excuse me, it's the densest, smallest motherboard in any computer. Smaller than the Raspberry Pi, smaller than the Nook, and probably some smaller than current development boards. And it's got so much in it. The high density RAM, it's got flash storage, so it's got the processor, it's got the GPU, and we're going to about the CPU / GPU combo in it, just a nano, but it's just so small, and then like the rest has got battery. The rest of it is mainly battery, so it's about a 6-cell battery which they have custom built. Like they did it in layers so that it could accommodate the size of the device. Now they have done so many new innovations here that I just do not know where to begin, so I will not try. This is the main processor that powers this notebook. This 12-inch notebook is an Intel Core M, most likely based on the Broadwell architecture, which is Intel's 5th generation processor. This is clocked at 1.1 GHz for the stock model and 1.2 GHz for the higher end model. Now you might be wondering what is being cooled, what's cooling this processor. Nothing. This is the world's first fanless MacBook ever, without any fanless Mac period. It's probably using like a passive heatsink of some sorts to cool it. But this is not the first time we've seen a fanless design. I mean, if you look at the £200 notebooks, they have a fanless design. But the fact that Apple has now finally have this in their notebook, that's just wow. A bit later on the party, I say this is not really innovative at this point. That it's a fanless design, but it's a classic case of better late than never. So, needless to say that this is some real innovation here. Now, the only I/O in this machine is the audio out, which is a 3.5mm, and the USB Type-C connector. Now, Type-C was recently announced by, obviously, the company who created USB. This is based on the 3.1 standard. Now, the advantages of this over Type A and Type B is so many to list that I just do not have time to put into this video. But this Type-C connector is going to be the power, display output, data transfers, anything like that for wired connectors. For wireless, we've got 802.11 AC and Bluetooth 4.0. So that will give AirPlay, wireless. They're really going for the wireless connectivity with this notebook, and that's really, I think, pissing the bolt out. Now, some people is not going to like the fact that it's no MagSafe or there's only one connector, but me, this is brilliant, really. This is really, I think, the next generation in notebook computing. The fact that it's all wireless means you could just put it down, it's all connected, no wires to connect up, maybe apart from power, but you know, mostly cableless. You know, you just put on your headphones, just put on your speaker, you just do not need to connect it all. It should just work. Now onto the GPU. This is using an Intel HD 5300, which I'm presuming is Intel's most low end of their GPU in their computers. So it's pretty understandable if the Core M is low end in the Core series. I'm not imagining this to give really, you know, mind-blowing GPU, you know, frames per second. So for me, it's kind of steered me away from the MacBook. I would love to get one, you know, it's a browsing machine, but in terms of my workstation on the go, you know, a small workstation on the go, I would have to look elsewhere because the 5300 ain't gonna cut the mustard for animating and modeling. And that basically just covers the inside, and you can tell there's a lot of innovation in the inside, but there's as much innovation on the outside as the inside. It has an all-new aluminium design, which looks marvelous. It just kind of cradles all these new components. It uses a black glossy display. The display is a Retina 1440p display, which I believe is at 2304 by 1440 resolution. So that's why I'm classing it as 1440p. So that's quite a high definition resolution. I technically would class this Retina display as Retina HD, but take that as you will. Now the trackpad and the keyboard is one of the newest innovations. The key caps is bigger, but that's not where the innovation lies. No, the innovation actually lies with their key, you know, the actual switches. Their switches is a typical switches is what they call scissor switches, which is the ones that we know that's inside Cherry MX, you know, cherry red keyboards, cherry blue, normal chocolate keyboards. But Apple has announced something called the Butterfly, which is a one assembly switch that just kind of goes like that, like a butterfly, and it means that it won't, when you press on the side, you know it's on the side, but with this butterfly, it just presses it all down to give more accuracy while you type on something. Now this I would have loved to see on a desktop. You know, Apple really needs to replace their current wireless keyboard to have this keyboard, but this keyboard also has like one LED per backlight, which makes it thinner and more energy efficient. So that's the keyboard in a nutshell, really. The new switches, which I really want to see in like their desktop keyboards. And now onto the trackpad. Now the trackpad is very similar. It's like a diving board thing where the buttons, as you know, is on the bottom, and like the rest is trackpad. Now with Apple's new design, there's like two buttons on each, on the top and bottom. So left, right on the top, left, right on the bottom. Now this means that you can click anywhere and it will be the same feeling anywhere. They have also provided haptic feedbacks, which I'm not sure how that would work. But needless to say, it's quite an innovation as well. And I also got like a new gesture called the force click, which does like three things. I'm just going to use the web page example which is one of those three things. If you force click something in the web page, you get a direct preview of a Wikipedia page. Actually, I'm also going to refer to the video use. The more pressure you put onto the trackpad, the faster the video will go. Now, for me, I might find that useful. Maybe not. That's really quite debatable at the moment. But the concept is a good you know, it's quite intriguing. Now back onto the batteries. I did briefly mention that this custom layered battery is 6 cell. It's most likely lithium, and it gives about 9 to 10 hours. I don't know if that's actual hours or, you know, it's the benchmarking thing. So might be a bit hit and miss there. But the fact that Apple has got this battery life in such a thin notebook, it's definitely intriguing. I think they've really outdone themselves, especially compared to their MacBook Air, which is kind of what it's competing against as well, with the similar sized spec notebooks. Can we say for the same price? I think the main competitor is the Chromebook Pixel from Google. That's the thing that I can resemble most, and it looks very similar to that. So I think that's the main competition, the main rival with this MacBook. Now, because of this battery life, they managed to make sure it's as energy efficient as possible, from the display to the keyboard to the components itself. This is Apple's most energy efficient notebook ever, and the most power efficient notebook period. So Apple's really outdone themselves re-innovating this. Now Apple will show this in silver, space grey and gold. The gold is very intriguing, but it's just like what they have with their iPad lineup for what I'm guessing will be £1,000, so $9.99 UK pounds, or $12.99 US, and they will start shipping that in the 10th of April. They've also done updates to their MacBook Air line, with just upgrading the CPU and GPU to the 5th generation Broadwell architecture, and that's your lot. Actually scratch that last comment, it's not your lot. You also get a Thunderbolt 2 connection as well, so yeah, not all lost there. They've also updated their 13-inch MacBook Pro with Retina display. They'll include the force click trackpad and also a 5th generation Broadwell architecture, and that is really a lot. I'm not sure if the price has changed because I missed that part of the keynote, you know, because I was busy writing down the notes, but that's all they've really done. And there you go, guys, that's my roundup / breakdown of the Mac portion of the keynote, because I think that's where the news really is, because I really don't care for Apple Watch. They have oversold it. It does way too much for what it's designed, you know, what is the smartwatch is probably meant to be. It's meant to be a compliment, but the way they've implemented it, I think it's more shoehorned, you know, in your face sort of thing. Yeah, some features are cool in it, but it wouldn't be something I would personally buy. So this rounds up, concludes my video, so thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Peace.